Okay, we are recording. All right, so thanks for being here to learn more about our summer programming here with Montana Campus Compact. I'll get into the next slide if I can. Well, maybe Danette and I will start by introducing ourselves. I'll start. So my name is Callie Foster. I am the Montana Campus Compact VISTA Program Manager. VISTA is a program under Americorps. And I did 2 consecutive service terms with an Americorps program in 2015 in Helena, Montana. And I moved over to Missoula to help Campus Compact administer their Americorps program. And then I'll pass it over to Danette for her to introduce herself.
All right, well, thank you, Callie. So I am Danette Fadness, she, her, hers. I also, I manage the Americorps program. So in the same office with Campus Compact as Callie does, only ours is just Americorps without the VISTA side. I also served 2 terms with, actually I served with Campus Compact as an Americorps member in the early 2000s. And I'm pleased to be back to manage the Americorps program now and supporting Montana students. So I think it might be good, since there's not a ton of folks in the room, if we get popcorn around and introduce yourself and what organization you are representing. And so if we start with Liz, you're up in my upper left corner.
I'm Liz Flynn and I work with Florence Crittenden in Helena.
Ah, wonderful, thank you. And maybe we'll move on to Tamara.
Yeah, hi, Tamara, or I go by Tammy, but I work with Garden City Harvest, managing a teen employment program called Youth Harvest Project, teaching young people how to farm. Yes.
And did you want to popcorn it to someone?
Yeah, I'm seeing Jody.
Hi, everyone. I work at Montana Tech in Butte and just wanted to learn about the program so I could find the right organizations in town to maybe share this with.
Ooh, thank you. And do you want to popcorn it to someone?
Sorry about that. How about Pamela?
Yes, I'm Pam Sanderson. I'm the Engagement and Volunteer Center Director at the United Way of Yellowstone County in Billings, Montana.
Thank you.
Ashley.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley. I work at Missoula Food Bank and Community Center as the Child Nutrition Program Coordinator.
Well, thank you. And shall we move it on to Michael?
There.
We can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I turned off my headset for just a moment when you were doing the introduction, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here, please.
Who you are and where you're coming from.
Yep.
I'm in Great Falls.
Okay. And what organization do you work with?
Sunburst Unlimited.
Oh, beautiful. Yes, I remember you.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here.
Well,
and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I think we have Cindy next, and then maybe Maura.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm Cindy Mcguinness. I'm Development Director at the Billings Family YMCA.
Nice, thank you. And on to Maura, and then I think we move forward.
Danette, and sorry everyone, my camera is having some issues, but my name is Maura Jones, and I am the program specialist, Americorps program specialist here with Montana Campus Compact. I support Danette and work and our sites and members, and this will be kind of my first spring of recruitment for sites and members, and I'm really excited to learn about you all and your projects.
Great, thanks, Maura. I'm going to go back to sharing screen. Okay, So to get into our webinar and to provide you with the best information, we'll get started here. Let's see. Okay, so the objectives of this webinar are to understand how Montana Campus Compact summer programming can benefit your organization, for you to understand the terms and conditions of national service programming, and to understand how national service positively impacts communities and the individuals who serve. Also, Dana, I just realized that I cannot see notes and who is designated to which slide, so I will need some assistance there.
All right, well, I am up. So
Great,
to
thank
move
you.
on to slide 3, I will share a bit about what Americorps is, and then I'll let you know when it's time for you to step back in.
Thank
So Americorps is, it engages about 75,000 members nationwide every year at over about 21,000 locations. And there are over 1 million alumni, and Callie and I and Maura are all alumni, and maybe some of you as well. In fact, our entire staff is made up either Americorps or Peace Corps alums, which is really kind of exciting. So it's a network of national service programs made up 3 primary programs that each take a different approach to improving lives and fostering civic engagement. Members commit their time to address critical needs like increasing academic achievement, mentoring youth, fighting poverty, sustaining national parks, preparing for disasters, food insecurity, and more. And Montana is really pleased that we have such high rates of Americorps members in service in our communities. So next slide. So this is just a snapshot of what it looks like national service here in Montana. In Montana, we have over 500 or around 500 local service sites, and we engage about 3,600 senior or Americorps seniors and Americorps members. We're really excited because in March, we're going to bring together all of the, not the seniors, but all of the Americorps members that are serving full time together at a symposium in Helena and get to bond and do some trainings and stuff. So it's really exciting. And there'll be about 250 folks there. And it does bring in about $15.2 million in funding and local funding here in the state of Montana. So it's really great for Montana. And then also the education awards that are earned that go back into our colleges and universities is over the years since 1994, been about $24.7 million in those awards. So that's pretty fantastic. So next, Callie will tell you a little bit more about what Campus Compact is.
Thanks, Dana. Yeah, so if you're wondering who we are as an organization, as you know, we are Montana Campus Compact. We advance the public purpose of colleges and universities by deepening their ability to improve community life and to educate students for civic and social responsibility. So that is our mission statement. As you can see on the slide, there is over a dozen logos of local colleges, universities, tribal colleges here in Montana. And so we are a network of colleges and universities around the state, and we provide services to them in the form of awards and scholarships, as well as connecting them to Americorps resources, such as our year-long VISTA and Americorps Leader programs. We were started, I think, back in 1993, so we have a long-standing history of providing those resources to our campuses. Is this one me as well, Danette?
It is.
Okay, great. So getting into our summer programming. So every year, Montana Campus Compact, we host a summer program. And what we like to focus on for these summer programs is summer learning loss, so out of school time for youth, summer feeding or meal programs, not only for youth, but for veterans and elders, pretty much anyone that is facing food insecurity. K through 12 student success and career exploration. We like to get some programs in front of students to expose them to what their future could look like. high school coaches as well. This is, hoping that we can get high schoolers excited about college. And then summer melt. Danette, I'm not quite sure what that is. You might have to go into it, but then also college near peer coaches. So this is trying to help current college students obtain a degree and kind of coach them through that process. Danette, did you want to mention something about summer melt?
That'll be in a later slide.
Okay, great. Well, then I will move on to
You
it.
get the next slide as well.
This one, so I can't see the notes that are on here. I think we had some nice statistics. I'll get into the summer feeding program. So based off of some research that I did and what we have heard from summer feeding programs is that 1 in 6 students, 1 in 6 youth, I'd say, in the US, they experience hunger. And we have seen that over the summer, there is a higher likelihood that students are hungry because they are not receiving breakfast or lunch that they may rely on during the school year. And so guardians and parents are also faced with having to make trade-offs of if they are going to, pay for food or keep the lights on. So we really try to hone in on these summer feeding programs and provide Americorps members to these programs in the hopes that we can increase the number of beneficiaries that are reached. Danette, would you mind reading the other one?
I will, thank you. So when we looked at summer learning loss, the American Educational Research Journal published a study to understand the roles of summer in achievement disparities. And what they actually found was in kids grades 1 through 8, they lost about 17 to 34% of the prior year's learning gains during the summer break. So really this opportunity for us to have Americorps members out there mentoring with young people, inspiring them to enjoy science and other things is just so very important so that they don't lose the 17 to 34% over the summer. So next slide. And this one is me. So as we had summer melt on the last one. So summer melt is a common problem, especially among low-income students. So summer melt is what happens when high school graduates who have been accepted to college and they're planning to go, they're enrolled and everything, but they just kind of melt off and they don't follow through on all those steps, to get their financial aid completed, administrative deadlines, get registered for classes, those kinds of things. So some of our programs have over the years done a summer nudging program where they bring in an intervention which has been found to be very helpful with personalized text messaging and other, emails, those kinds of things, and just reaching out to these individuals at specific times throughout the summer to help them remember that it's time to register and support them through those processes. It's time to find out more about your housing, these kinds of things. And it's really very a successful way of addressing summer melt. So summer nudging is one of the ways that we do that. So my program is very college attainment focused programming. So this slide kind of covers what we do year round, but we can also do these things in the summertime because we do know that with summer learning loss and summer melt type things, we definitely want to keep young people engaged throughout the summer. There are college access summer camps across the state from TRIO Upward Bound programs. And, they bring these young people together for 6 or 7 weeks, and they are going through, educational opportunities, mentoring, preparing for career exploration, and ultimately post-secondary education of some type. That doesn't mean going on to college, a 4-year or 2-year, but it could mean a certificate program or apprenticeship program. There's a lot of different ways to engage in post-secondary education. And like I said, this chart here just kind of shows what we can do. These are just ideas. Of course, beyond that is acceptable as well. Next slide. Something we didn't mention was that you can unmute and ask questions at any time, or we can take questions at the end if you want to write them down. That works as well. So the other things that Callie had originally said, college success and food insecurity. In the fall of 2019, a survey of nearly 167,000 students nationwide found that 39% of students at 4- and 2-year colleges had experienced food insecurity in the last 30 days. In order to be successful in college, we know students need access to food. Therefore, Americorps members are ready to help by serving to address food insecurity. One kind of a cool project that we had a few years ago was an Americorps team at Salish Kootenai College. They addressed food sovereignty on the Flathead Reservation by developing a game with Salish Kootenai College students and some 8th through 12th grade high school students. And they developed a food sovereignty game. I can't remember where the name of that one is, but I think that comes up in a moment. And then they took that game on the road. So they had a food sovereignty roadshow tour, and they developed 3 free community gatherings serving healthy local grown food prepared as a feast, each one honoring area farmers, gardeners, hunters, fishers, their suppliers, and other food champions. And before presenting the Fields of Phantom, that was the board game. They would engage in a structured dialogue and illustrating the local food web and building capacity for larger community involvement in solving these issues of food insecurity and food sovereignty on the Flathead Reservation. We have members serving in the Food Pantry, SKC, helping with food boxes, Great Falls College Food Pantry, and things like that. So those are always great ways for our members to serve. Next slide. So to summarize, our programs address, again, summer learning loss, meal plans, K through 12 student success, career exploration, including STEM and art programming, high school coaching to support high school students to be successful, plan for and apply for post-secondary education, college near-peer coaching to support success and retention, civic engagement, social, emotional, skill development, and food insecurity. And we'll talk, and next, I believe it is Callie.
Sorry, I was muted. So to get into a little bit of a logistic item. So if you feel as if you are ready to host a summer Americorps member, we require a cost share fee per member, and that is $1,000. And that covers the entire duration of their service term, which we will get into those logistics in another slide. But if you are thinking you want to host one or more Americorps members, that is the cost share fee. It is $1,000. Also, we do not like to turn people away from hosting an Americorps member. So I do want to put a disclaimer that please do not let this discourage you from applying. If you find yourself facing financial barriers of hosting an Americorps member, please reach out to myself or Danette, and we will talk through it and see what resources our office has to help support you hosting an Americorps member. Okay. So when we're thinking about organizational capacity to host a national service member, there are some things you want to be thinking about when planning to bring someone on, or potentially multiple members. You want to make sure that you have a proper workspace for them, access to a computer and to a phone and to the internet. There are some requirements that we have with our members, and so they will need to submit a timesheet and monthly reporting to us, and it is best if they complete that on site with your assistance. And thinking about Americorps members and the main demographic that we see for summer, these are typically folks that are over the age of 18. They could be currently in college or about to enter college. And so you need to be thinking about, mentoring them, coaching them a little bit. This may be their first professional gig. And then also with the cost share fee. And then I also put in some notes, but I cannot see them, so I'm going to try to go off the top of my head. And tips for supporting a national service member throughout the summer, of course, is to treat them as staff. You want to make sure that they feel a part of your team and that they feel appreciated and valued as if they were a staff member. Showing appreciation is really great. It goes a long way. Sometimes members may be thinking, oh, what did I get myself into of dedicating my whole summer to this? So showing that they are valuable and a part of your team can go a long way. And then I think I put meeting with them weekly is a really great way to retain a member and to show your support and to help them out. So, you know, proper supervision is really important as well. And that goes into that mentoring as well. And then, Danette, I might be missing a couple of them, honestly.
Nope, show appreciation. They'll be doing monthly reporting and timesheets. Yeah, you covered pretty much all of it.
Great.
And just that being a site supervisor can be very meaningful as well. And I think we'll talk about that in the next slide.
Yeah, we decided to use a quote from a VISTA supervisor that hosted Americorps members last year, maybe the year before, and they mentioned to us that as a supervisor, I create space for young adults to find their leadership skills and put them to action. Members are challenged and pushed to grow into assertive, confident leaders. Supporting this growth is one of the most rewarding experiences I have as a manager. So not only is it beneficial for the Americorps member to gain this experience, it is beneficial for your organization and you as well.
Next slide.
Okay.
This is me. So, you know, there really are a lot of great benefits to service, you know, like mentoring the little ones that are here on the screen. And that is just a start. So the next slide. So these members will engage in 10 weeks of full-time service from June 6th through August 14th. And they will be receiving a $2,877 education or living allowance, which would be distributed bi-weekly. And with successful completion of their term of service, so serving all 10 weeks full-time, then they're eligible for a $1,342.86 education award to use towards future schooling or to pay down current student loans. And when they use it for future tuition, they may be eligible for an education award match, which 12 of our Montana colleges may match, offer up to $1,000 annually. So they can really turn that into over $2,000 towards school, which really helps bring down the cost of attending school and goes a long way with helping them. Let's see, the other things, I always think that the t-shirt is a selling point. People laugh, but I think it's fabulous to have that t-shirt. What happens as an Americorps alum, once you see that Americorps A on anybody in an airport or anywhere, you're gonna immediately go to them and talk to them and find out where they served. So it's a valuable, well beyond their actual 10 weeks of service as well. And then, you know, it's really, Americorps service looks really great on your resume and your scholarship applications, graduate school, and more. And I kind of share some of these thoughts and ideas because as you're recruiting for your member, you want to know what kind of benefits, you know, and it looks great on graduate school and college applications, all of that. And then these members are really joining a cohort of Americorps members making a difference in Montana and really across the country. Like we said earlier, over 70,000 folks do that. Next slide.
One thing I wanted to add to this, of Danette's comment of when you see someone with the Americorps A out in public, during the pandemic, I went home to help take care of my mother for 6 months, and I actually saw someone on the street wearing an Americorps Montana logo.
Oh,
and so
wow.
I had to ask them about it and their position and everything. And it was amazing that I was all the way across the country and saw someone that did service in Montana just like me. So it really does happen, and it is a special feeling. Okay, is this you, Danette, or is this me?
This is me.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So it's really up to the host site to recruit members. So we want you guys to start thinking about folks. You know, we want you to look at your your own volunteer list and different things like that. But so eligibility, as Callie mentioned earlier, they must be 18. They do have to be US citizens in order to serve. And generally they're recent high school graduates or college students that we engage in service. That doesn't mean we couldn't engage some older adults that maybe aren't in college. So if you're looking at your volunteer list and you do have folks, don't limit it to that, but that's generally, as we are Campus Compact, we're all about engaging college students in service. And once you identify your candidate, we want you to complete an application or an interview with them, and then let us know. Say, hey, I found somebody that I think is perfect for this position, and send us your interview notes and the contact information for them. And then we will start communicating with them to help them get through the process. One of the processes is to apply through the My Americorps portal. We'll provide you a link for that as well. And potentially some, and we will provide you some marketing templates and things, but we do suggest that you put it on your website, in newsletters, nonprofit newsletters, again, reviewing your current volunteers. I think oftentimes grandparents and parents will volunteer their younger people to engage in service. So those, if you've just got older adults in your life that you want to talk to, I really think they can be helpful in helping somebody see that service could be exciting for them. Let's see. And then if we receive any applications in our office for your position, because it will be out in the My Americorps portal, we will review their application. And if they appear to be eligible, we will send them on to you, and you can go through that process again and handle the interview and everything. For our year-long programs, that's totally different. We handle the interviewing, but for summer, we do allow you to do your process of figuring out who meets your needs. And I think next slide.
Yeah, so this one is me. You're probably thinking about, what's the timeline for this? Summer seems like several months away, but in our world, it's quickly approaching. So we try to stay ahead on things. And that is why service site project proposal, so your application to host an Americorps member, the deadline is March 6th. Just a few weeks out from now. We will go through a review period in our office. And so by March 14th, you will hear if your proposal has been accepted. March 15th through the 29th of April, that is your time to, hit potential recruits and candidates pretty hard and fast, try to get your member figured out of who it is. And then no later than April 29th, we would love to hear sooner than April 29th of who your member is going to be. And so I want to stress that to all of you, that if you find a really great candidate, you interview, you offer the position to them, and they are ready to go and they accept the position before April 29th, please, please, please send them along to us so we can get them started on the enrollment process and the onboarding process. There is a bit of work that our office needs to do to get them through the Americorps enrollment process, including a background check, and that can take some time. So we want to make sure that we have enough time to get them enrolled. So please, if you know who your person is before April 29th, I cannot stress this enough, let us know who they are. From April 29th to June 5th, that is our time to work these members through the enrollment process. And then on June 6th, that is when members will begin service. We require all of our service members to attend a pre-service orientation. It is a one-day orientation. And if you are outside of Missoula, where our network office is, we do offer an virtual option for this orientation, but it is required for all members to attend. And then on June 7th, that is when members will report to your service site where they will begin their position with you. Okay. So moving on to the next slide, I know we're all still living in the world of COVID, so we did want to mention a couple things. up at the top, you'll see things are always evolving, as we've seen over the last 2 years. So things could change from today to June. So we're not sure, but we want to let you know that safety of our members and beneficiaries of your program are very important to us. And so we require that you, as a host site, you must provide the minimum PPE and adhere to COVID aware policies put in place by the CDC and the state of Montana. So we are following those guidelines on behalf of our members. And then we also put a note in there that as things change, or if challenges or issues come up, that we ask that you communicate with us immediately if there are any closures, or if your member contracts COVID and needs to take some time away from your site. Anything like that, we like to be in the know about it, because there are some Americorps policies that are in place, and there are some protections for members as well. So that's just a little note about COVID. And I know we're only at 2:33, so we wanted to leave some time for questions, or if anyone wanted to discuss anything, but we have put our contact information on here for you. So Danette, you can see that her phone number and email is there, and then mine is on the right side of the page, a phone number and email. If you have been communicating with us over email, you should have that contact information, but I wanted to put that up there, and then leave some time for questions. I know we did spit out a decent amount of info to you.
I had a question. I was wondering if you can describe the kinds of projects. I mean, does it have to be around like food insecurity, or what kind of positions can we have these vistas work on?
You know, it's pretty open. We have seen all sorts of projects. Our most common ones, you know, are food insecurity and academic. But typically, the perimeters that we work under is that there needs to be a poverty alleviation component there. Our Americorps is meant to serve low-income beneficiaries. And then it needs to be, you know, summer related and education equity or academic related, because that is what Montana Campus Compact's mission is. We've seen some pretty unique positions. Summer camps are our most common, or summer like workforce training. Danette, can you think of other examples?
Liz, if I remember, did you say you had something to do with gardening? Like
No, I work for Florence Crittenton. We're
right,
a residential program for pregnant and parenting women. Who've experienced pretty significant trauma. We do have a lot of early childhood programs, so we serve kiddos age 0 to 5, and I was just wondering if that would count as some kind of academic related position.
Yep, that would
I
work.
would say so. Yeah, because that falls under like school readiness, which does have to do with education. So yes, absolutely. And then also, Liz, you know, if there's any programs of helping these young women obtain, you know, GEDs or their college, or getting into college or whatnot, that would fall under our programming as well. But we've also seen some really unique positions surface, and usually we can always find some sort of connection there.
So it would need to be like tutoring, is it, you know, tutoring our residents? If you're talking about like
for the pregnant
yeah, so if you're
mothers.
talking about helping people get ready for their GED,
right, career
that would be-
exploration, academic mentoring, any of that kind of stuff could definitely be fabulous, even for potentially a year-long position on something like that.
And then how tough is it, have you found it, to recruit these people for your summer program? Like, I mean, I know every organization in Montana right now is struggling with workforce issues. How, in your experience, how tough is it to find somebody that is a good fit for this type of position?
I think it depends. You know, typically when a site we do require you to do your own recruitment, so you'd have to get, creative that way. But also the way we do recruitment is we put it out on the Americorps website. We also put it on our website, our social media. We also ask our advisory committee members to share it with, faculty and staff at our affiliate campuses. So we really are trying to grab the attention of college students within our network to fill these positions. So it is, I'm not gonna lie, it is challenging, and we try to provide as much information and marketing materials to sites. But ultimately it is up to the site, which would be you to complete recruitment and find your member.
Okay, and then I'm assuming probably a lot of these students would need to come from your hometown, because housing is so expensive in Montana right now that, that living allowance is probably not going to be enough to cover them coming to Helena, for example, for the summer, and finding an apartment is going to be out of the question.
So one thought would be that we'll have a member that's going to serve with UM Upward Bound. So they're going to get them a dorm room. So I don't know if you have connections with Carol. We are all about campus and community partnerships. So we do ask that you try to tap into your local campuses, and that might be an ask for them. Would they be able to provide?
I've heard though that when they do that, they ask them to be on their cafeteria plan, and that's really, really super cost prohibited.
We have seen members come from out of state to spend the summer in Montana doing these programs. Typically, it is a unique situation where housing is secured, or we've seen members kind of come in pairs or in threes, and they split the cost of housing in certain areas. But yeah, typically we would prefer them to be local recruits because they already have that support system in place, housing, they're aware of the community. So ideally you would want to recruit someone.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you. Those are just my questions.
Okay, any other questions out there? I think some of you are returning sites, so I imagine you're kind of well versed on this, but Jody, I see you unmuted yourself. Did you have a question?
Yes, first of all, I apologize. I am working in the main office and I had somebody come in, so I missed a lot of the end of that presentation, so I'm sorry. But my question was, do you have a list of organizations, or are there any in Butte currently that have Americorps? I'm just thinking of recruiting and don't want to go, or maybe I should go to places who already have one to get more info. I don't know.
Yeah, we do. Danette has a handful of members that are serving at Montana Tech. I have a member that is serving with the Montana College Attainment Network, and then 2 members serving at the National Center of Appropriate Technology. So there are, a handful or more of members in Butte that are currently serving. Yes.
Excellent.
And we could get that list to you if you wanted to email either Danette or myself.
Yeah, I'll do that. I would love that, just again, so I can just understand more about it. That way, when I'm in the community, I can think about who maybe would be able to take advantage of this in the future. That kind of thing.
Yeah, and we have some incoming sites for year-long members too, such as the Clark Fork Watershed Education Network and the Science Mine, the Exploratorium in downtown Butte.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. Great, thank you so much. And again, I apologize. I had to kind of step out of that meeting for a little bit.
No worries. Any other questions?
You're at Montana Tech, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So we do have, like Callie said, a handful. It's actually 15 members that are serving at Montana Tech right now. So we're engaging a dozen of them that are current college students as well. So Amy Verlanik and her office is the one. So you might chat with her.
I'll reach out to her. I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much.
I had one other quick question. Can you just go over what the reporting requirements are for a supervisor of this type of position?
Yeah, so more of the reporting lies on the member's responsibility. And so typically for a supervisor, we ask that you sign off on their timesheets and their reporting. So we want to make sure that the members are serving full time. So, and that's between 35 and 40 hours a week. And so they will track the time that they have spent serving at your organization. Mine, I think, Danette, yours is on a monthly basis, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so on a monthly basis, they will be required to fill out a timesheet and submit it to us. And then we do collect performance measure data that helps show our impact of this AmeriCorps program to our funders. So that is also on a monthly basis where they will be asked to submit, demographics information as well as specific performance measures of the exact activities and the beneficiaries that they are serving.
We have a survey out there in Qualtrics is where they would go out and just fill out that information. But we do ask that the site supervisors be involved in the data gathering so that it is accurate when it goes into that report so that we can report out on it.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Any other questions? I wanted to make one last comment. So you may be asking yourself, why are there two different managers running the same program for summer? So there are two distinct summer programs that happen in our office, but we do site development jointly. So that's why Danette and myself are here. When you fill out the application through our website, we will then designate based off of your needs and our programming needs, which position you will go with or which program. They are relatively the same, but there are a few logistical things that are different, such as the reporting platforms that we use, as well as criminal history check. So based off of your application, we will then send an MOU and some more information saying, okay, this is what is required of you because you fit this need better, or you may go into the other program. They pretty much have the same, programming timelines, expectations, and very similar activities that members do, but because we host two distinct AmeriCorps grants through our office, you will be either in contact with myself or Danette, just to put that out there. I wanted to clarify for those of you that are returning that it may seem a little different than last year. And if you think of questions that we didn't address during this webinar or you didn't think of right now, please feel free to reach out to us. Dana and I are in the office between Monday and Friday from 9 to 5. Feel free to give us a call or to email. We are here to support you for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll stay on for a few more minutes for those of you that do have questions, but that's the end of our webinar. So feel free to take back those 15 minutes of your day.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.